Now, for what it's worth, I think millennials get more shit than they deserve. I know what you're thinking. Lauren, millennials are the freaking worst. How can you even defend them? Well, let's be fair for a minute here. I think a lot of things were already ruined before they came along. The boomers pranked us when they became our progressive educators. We didn't become the special snowflake generation out of nowhere. And they definitely pranked us fiscally with debt that we'll never be able to pay off, therefore making it impossible for us to ever move out and buy a home. So not all of our incessant whining is pointless. But a lot of it is. And there's always room for self-improvement. And boy, is there a lot of room for self-improvement among us millennials. So here are my New Year's resolutions for young people. Number 1, stop reading BuzzFeed, Upworthy, and Vice for your news. These are not news sites. They're clickbait sites. And almost all their clickbait is leaning to one side of the political spectrum. If you tune into these sites, you'll learn fascinating things like, what is your inner potato, and that Leonardo DiCaprio may be a human puppy, but what you won't get is a rounded view of the news and world politics. Follow a variety of left-wing and right-wing news sources. Look at people who are pretty impartial, like Philip DeFranco even, who does the news in an interesting and relatable way. Just stop getting your news from BuzzFeed in 2017. Number 2, stop race baiting. Racism is not the norm in mainstream Western culture or in its institutions, not even close to the norm. Unless you're sitting around with a microscope desperately trying to find it in everything, then sure, you'll be able to critically analyze how garbage bags or air conditioning is a system of oppression. But no one should take you seriously. If you're going to address racism, stop trying to create it in the first place, because you're only making things worse. Fake hate crimes are on the rise, and there are more whiny listicles about non-existent problems every day. No, makeup is not racist. No, math is not racist. No, movies and TV shows are not racist. Probably one of the best characters to come out this year is Maeve from Westworld. Real racism exists in the world, but it's not in all the places millennials seem to be looking. How about addressing how Saudi Arabia literally treat their Bangladeshi, Indian, or Pakistani workers as subhuman instead of pretending that a red cap is a symbol of oppression? 3, stop championing stupid causes in general. If you complained or made a video on the topic of mansplaining, manspreading, or on how you love your herpes and want herpes positivity, or on how Pepe the Frog is hate speech this year, you're quite frankly an idiot. These are not real causes to champion. They are punchlines. I'd prefer people at least go back to just doing the cancerous thing where they just take pictures with poor kids in Africa, make it their profile picture on Facebook, and then pretend they were remotely helpful on their trip. At least that virtue signaling was somewhat believable, but this shit is just sad. Stop with the no-effort virtue signaling. If you care, go work at a women's shelter. Get an education in healthcare instead of feminist dance theory. Or if you're going to pretend to be a caring and progressive person, at least put in a little more effort. Number 4, stop whining every time a boomer celebrity dies. It's going to happen a lot more. It's going to get worse. Just wait until 2017. Rest in peace. Number 5, learn how to take a joke. This year at Laurier University here in Canada, a manager at a cafe posted a joke ad asking for new employees, saying he needed some new slaves to boss around at the cafe. He was quite literally taken off of campus by security, and the cafe was shut down because of his awful hate joke. It's no wonder comedians like Chris Rock and Jerry Seinfeld have been forced to stop performing on college campuses. They've both stated students just can't take a joke. You can't make fun of anything anymore. Comedy is the last bastion of free speech. Let's try not to kill it like how we killed artwork and music. Number 6, stop being nihilists, or at least be cool nihilists. The problem with philosophers is more people quote them than actually read them, and Nietzsche has suffered that very problem massively. Everyone thinks it's cool and edgy to be nihilist, but Nietzsche never actually advocated nihilism as an end goal. He promoted it so society could learn to overcome it eventually and heal from it, because he thought nihilism was extremely unhealthy for a society. And he's not wrong. You sitting, eating Cheetos and making edgy nihilist memes all day in your basement and pretending not to care about anything does not bring you more happiness. It doesn't add more value to the world, and it just makes you utterly uninteresting and a drag on society. Stop being nihilists, start caring a little more, and if you're going to be a nihilist, at least be tragic about it and write some stupid poetry like old German philosophers instead of making vaporwave memes. Number 7, stop being fat and stop encouraging fatties. Stop being fat is just a classic resolution. I'm sure half of you have it in your resolutions anyway, but Millennials' resolution is a bit different because, unlike other generations, we seem to all want to lose weight ourselves, while at the same time encouraging other people to be fat. So stop with the BuzzFeed articles saying that fat is beautiful, stop with the Tess Holiday nonsense. No matter how many listicles you make, being unhealthy is not beautiful. And you know what's even less beautiful? Being lying bastards. Number 8, stop being triggered snowflakes. We've made it in the news for being the most pathetic, hysterical generation in history. We need safe spaces. We need language control. It's absolutely pathetic. Go ahead, disagree with people. You can believe that hate speech is a real thing. You can be offended by something, but conduct yourself in a reasonable freaking way. It's not that hard, guys. You don't need a puppy room and a cupcake room to process someone else's opinion. People have had massive disagreements since the dawn of time, and yet some of them were spurgs and started wars over it, but there were plenty of people who debated ideas in suits and at desks like reasonable freaking people without rubbing period blood on their face. Who do you want to be? The spurgs and savages who started wars and rubbed blood on their faces, or the reasonable gentlemen who allow the best ideas to win? Can we please pick the latter for 2017? And this year, Millennials, let's try not to be the most cancerous generation in history. If you enjoyed that video, then be sure to hit like and subscribe.